Hello, everyone. Happy holidays. Today is Friday, December 19th, on a live session again on the topic of the importance of setting healthy boundaries for your mind, body, and soul. And this is a topic that's really important as we head into the holidays. You might want to really think about this for the new year, about setting healthy boundaries, because when you do so, you become much more efficient, much more proactive, much more constructive, and you show up to life at the highest level. So, that is today's topic, about setting healthy boundaries for your mind, body, and soul. So, if you have any questions about this topic or other topics, please let me know. This is the time to ask me questions, because I am live. And so, this is a wonderful time to ask me questions. Hello, Najira. How are you? Nice to see you. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Okay, so let's clear the energy of the room. And then what we will do is we will then get into the topic. So just relax, stay present, breathe naturally, and just focus in the power of now. God, angel, spirit, guides, and masters, divine creator, thank you so much for allowing us to create the sacred space on the topic of creating healthy boundaries for your mind, body, and soul. Thank you so much for allowing us to speak the words, these higher messages and higher words. Thank you, higher self and the divine, for being here to guide through this wonderful session. Thank you for removing any low frequency energies that do not serve the highest and best good of everyone in this sacred space. Thank you so much for allowing this session to go off without a hitch, to have serenity, peace, and flow. And so it is. Namaste. Hi, Pragati. What a beautiful name. Hello. Hello. So before I get started, just to remind those of you who don't know, I am building with my co-founder an AI educational platform on traditional Chinese medicine healing system to support your health and wellness, to educate you about Chinese medicine so you could hopefully incorporate it more in your life and make better health choices for you and your family. So, as we're building this platform, we want to learn from you what you would want and what would you would want in such a platform. We really want to hear from you. And so we created a survey and ask you to please complete the survey, which will help us. And the link is 69moons.co/consumers, 69moons.co/consumers. And please complete the survey and let us know what it is that you would want in such an AI educational platform on the traditional Chinese medicine healing system, which is a 5,000-year-old healing system. So it's a very, very profound, deep healing system with lots of wisdom, and very passionate about Chinese medicine, which is the reason why we started this AI educational platform. And it's going to be AI driven, so it's going to be super smart. Okay, so thank you so much for joining me. Hello, Lisette. Hello, Lisette. Thank you for joining me on this session of why it's important to set healthy boundaries and some of the tools and tips to set healthy boundaries. And so the reason why you're setting healthy boundaries is really for your mind, body, and soul, the health and wellness of these three beautiful, call it entities, call it, eternal beingness. The body is not so much eternal because it does, fade, but your soul definitely is eternal. And your consciousness, your mind, which is, related to your mind, and your consciousness is always eternal as well. So we're talking about this life that you're living on right now, called this life. Why is it important to set those healthy boundaries for your mind, body, and soul? Because if they're not healthy, it affects, if the mind is not healthy, it's going to affect the emotions, it's going to affect the soul, it's all one ecosystem. And if one is not healthy, then it affects the other two. Or if two are not healthy, it affects the other one. So everything at all these levels and tiers have to be healthy for you to show up to life at the highest level, because that's what you want to do. You really want to show up to life at the highest level, right? You want to be a powerful manifester. You want to help others. You want to have compassion for others, but you can't help anybody until you've helped yourself first, right? Because if you're not healthy in the mind, body, and soul, then how can you help anybody? Because you can't even help yourself. So it's actually very compassionate to think about your mind, body, and soul first, and and really helping society to think about your mind, body, and soul first before you think about anybody else's mind, body, and soul anybody else's mind, body, and soul, because you've got to be healthy. And when you're healthy, you're going to show up to life at the highest level. And when you show up to life at the highest level, that means you're going to help everyone around you, right? How can somebody who is unhealthy help anybody, right? You'll just be debilitated. You'll probably spend all your time in bed. How is that going to help your family? How is that going to help your friends? How is that going to help your community? And so you've got to get healthy in all of these three levels to show up to life at the highest level so you can help others. And those people will then help others. And therefore, you're helping society and the planet at large. And so this topic is so important. And as you head towards the 2025, think about making some resolutions about how can I nurture my mind, body, and soul better? How can I put me first, and not in a selfish way, but in a way that creates that energetic space so that I can become healthy, so then I can show up to life at the highest level and therefore help others in a more profound and deeper way. So it's a win-win for everyone. This is a win-win for you, for your family, for your friends, for community, and for our planet. It's a win for everybody. Hello, Arpita. Oh, Arpita says, my mind is 6. Okay, how to heal the mind. Okay, so we're going to get into that. So the first thing is, as Lisette mentioned, is about the mind. When your mind is sick, you're going to bring up emotions that are low frequency, emotions of fear, emotions of anger, emotions of frustration, emotions of resentment, right? So when you repeat thoughts and over again the same thoughts, what's happening is you're going to create a certain emotion. And so you're going to create a belief system. When you repeat a thought over and over again, you create a belief system, and that belief system is going to create emotions. And then it's also going to create a behavior pattern, because all behaviors come from us, right? Based on how we feel. And those feelings come based on the thoughts that we have. So if you just keep repeating a thought that does not serve you, that does not honor you, then you're going to have feelings that do not serve you, that do not honor you. And when you have feelings that do not serve you, that do not honor you, then that means you're going to take action that does not serve you or honor you, which means that your life is going to go in a downward spiral. And as you have those thoughts more and more, you're going to create a bigger momentum of that downward spiral. And so there's two types of things with the mind that you have to be aware of. The things that you're bringing in from the outside world, from family, from friends, from society, from social media. What are the things that you're bringing in and you're allowing to bring in from the outside world? Having an awareness of that. Am I bringing in thoughts? Am I bringing in information that serves me at that or that do not serve me? What am I bringing in? And having a real awareness of that is important. Now, does it mean that all information that you bring in from society, from family, from community, from social media is wrong? No, it's not all wrong. It's that when you bring in all this information and we're bombarded, we have to be discerning. We have to be discerning about what information is true for us and what information is not. So if you're not sure about something, and let's say a family member gave you advice about some situation, maybe it's about a health issue that you're having, and the family member gave you advice about what to do. And that family member really has good intention for you. It's not coming from a bad intention place. It's coming from a well-intentioned place. You want to be aware. Oh, you say, oh, okay. Thank you for that information. I'm not sure. If you're not sure if it's right for you, then you research the information. Now with AI and online, you can research anything, right? What is it that you cannot get access to in terms of information and data? You research it. So the first thing is you have to protect this mind by protecting what information do you allow to come in? And do you allow to hold to go into that subconscious mind? Because if you keep holding it, you're putting it into your deeper mind, the subconscious mind, more and more deeper and deeper and deeper. And that could be dangerous if it's information that really doesn't serve your highest and best interest. Because as you keep repeating those thoughts, you create a form of belief system. And that belief system is then going to create all kinds of emotions in you. And usually a belief system that does not serve or honor you creates emotions that do not honor you. Emotions of lack of self-worth, emotions of I'm not good enough, emotions that I can't do it, emotions that you're not confident. So think about if you have those emotions, what are you going to do out in the world? What are you going to accomplish? What are you going to really do in the world? You're going to be debilitated, right? You're going to feel frozen. So having an awareness, protecting the mind is the first level of healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries, protecting your mind. You've got to set boundaries. So as information comes in, be discerning. Don't just take it as fact. Be discerning. Does this resonate with me? Does it ring true for me? Ask your inner child. Ask your higher self. You say, higher self, is this true for me? Or inner child, is this true for me? Check in with that subconscious mind. Check in with your body. See what your body's telling you. Because your body always wants to keep you sick. Your body will give you a signal. You know how they say I have like, a wrench in my stomach or I have a knot in my stomach? That knot is telling you, it's giving you a warning signal. So look for those signals, look for those signs when you bring in information. And if you're not sure, then you research it. You research it. That's level one of protecting your mind. Level two is protecting your mind from people around you that may be more toxic, that may bring you down, that are not supporting you and lifting you up. You've got to set that boundary from people who are, whether it's family, friends, or community, you've got to set boundaries of people who are not in your highest and best interest. Or they might have good intention, but the way they're manifesting that good intention is not really helping you, right? Because there might be family members who have really good intention for you, but the way they're manifesting it is not really helping you. It's making you feel more depressed. It's making you feel you're not good enough. It's making you feel less confident, right? You want to protect yourself. You want to set healthy boundaries from those types of people. That's really important so that you could protect your mind. You've got to set healthy boundaries. It doesn't mean that you have to cut them off altogether if they're, especially if they're a family member and you want to keep some relationship. That's not to say that you have to cut them out altogether, but you have to set boundaries as to how much you talk with them, how much you visit with them, what types of conversations are um, are okay to discuss with them. That's also important. So setting healthy boundaries with people that you want to keep relationships, especially family, that feel kind of low energy, that feel kind of toxic, or an energy that feels like it's not really supporting me and it's not really helping my expansion and growth. Three things that you really want to set the boundaries are how much time you speak with them, how much time you visit with them, and what are the topics that you are willing to discuss with them. Because because there are certain topics where it might create a lot of anger, it might go sour. There are topics that you might talk about that should be off, that it's not helping with the relationship or keeping that relationship at the cordial level. You want to keep the relationship at the cordial level so that if you see them for Christmas, then it's cordial. You might not talk about politics, but you might talk about the weather or the children, right? Or what renovations are happening in the house, right? So keep make sure that you have boundaries set about how much you see them, what you're going to talk about, how much you're going to talk to them. That's really, really important so that you're not screaming and yelling at each other when you do see these people. You're keeping the relationship cordial. And that's absolutely fine to have those types of relationships. And so that's two ways that you're protecting your mind. You're protecting your mind from information that's coming in from all sorts of places, including social media and the internet. And you're being very discerning about what information is true for you and not true for you, what information resonates with you, applies for you for your highest and best good. And if you don't know if that information is for your highest and best good, make sure you research it from credible sources, because there are a lot of sources that are not credible. And two, set the boundary from with your parents or your family members or your siblings or your friends that do not really that might have some good intention, but that do not know how to support you in a way that you need so that you can expand and grow. Set boundaries in terms of time, how much time you talk with them, how much time you visit with them, and what topics you're going to discuss with them. That's really important. Okay. Now, let's just take a quick break because I have another tip here on the physical side. Let's take a quick break and see if there are any questions about what I have said so far. Okay, Lisa Fieron, I think how to heal the mind. Okay, so I'm going to go into more specific tools about what to do when you have the mind the thoughts are not serving you. Okay, I want to say thoughts are not serving you. I don't want to say toxic thoughts. I want to say thoughts that are not serving you. So I will go into some tips of how to deal with that. Mary Stravinsky. Hello, Mary. Hello, Heidi. Hello, Zenemy. I just learned you need to take full responsibility for your entire past to be able to start healing. Louise Hay made me light switch turn on when she said that. It's true. It's true because the minute you take responsibility for your life and you stop blaming your parents or other people, because I could easily blame my father because he was abusive, so I could easily blame him for why, I haven't accomplished this, whatever. I could blame him for a lot of things. But where's that going to get you, right? So the thing that you take responsibility, once you take full responsibility, you've empowered yourself and you freed up that energy. You freed up the energy of anger, resentment, victim. You're free from those low frequency energies. And so when you're free from those low frequency energies, think about what you can accomplish, what you could create, what you could build, what you could do, right? Let me tell you, 90% of the multimillionaires in this country did not come from money or came from a lot of these very successful people came from situations that were not good when they were in their childhood. They may have faced mental, emotional, physical abuse, but they were able to. Why did they become so successful? Is because they took responsibility. They said, you know what? I'm not going to make it about my past. I'm going to heal from my past. I'm going to forgive. I'm going to do a lot of forgiveness and I'm going to do a lot of healing, but I'm going to look forward. I'm no longer going to talk about that and play my victim role because it's not freeing up my energy to build, to create, to innovate. So that's why it's such a powerful thing to take full responsibility. And in Ho'oponopono, the Hawaiian spiritual practice, it's the same thing. They say take full responsibility for your life and cleanse any low frequency energies. When you take full responsibilities and say, oh, this angry person came into my experience because there's something deep part of me, a subconscious part of me that's still holding on to anger. So rather than getting angry at that person, I'm going to release that anger part of me. And because law of attraction, it's a magnet, likes attract, right? So once I cleanse the anger, then angry people show up less or don't show up at all. That's Ho'oponopono. That's why in Ho'oponopono, you take full responsibility for your life. Because once you say, oh, okay, I still have some anger in me in a subconscious level, I'm going to ask the divine and my super conscious mind, my inner child to help me release all of that. It's called cleansing, purifying. And when I cleanse and purify, then those people will not come into my experience. So it's a very powerful tool, what Louise Hay is talking about. And I love Louise Hay. To me, I feel like she's still here looking over all of us. I feel like she's like kind of my godmother, even though I've never met her. So thank you for mentioning that, Mary Stravinsky. Beautiful. Hi, Botanical Bro 888. Nice to see you. Okay, Zen and me. Okay, let's see if there's any other questions. Zen and me says it's difficult to disconnect from the interactions that are negative, but yes, yet still need to stay connected. Okay, what it is this, is that you're not trying to necessarily, what you're trying to, I get what you're saying. Like you want to disconnect from their low frequency energies or things that they're saying, right? You want to disconnect. It's not so much as disconnecting as it is protecting, shielding. That's what I would say. It's more about putting up like an energetic shield that what they say is bouncing off, bouncing off, bouncing off, bouncing off. That's kind of a way of disconnection, right? You're creating kind of an energetic shield where whatever they say, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really affect you, right? Thich Nhat Hanh, the great Buddhist monk, says you can only be affected by somebody else because you allow it to be affected. You allowing it to happen. So how about if you don't care? You're like, it's like if you don't care, like it's just bouncing off of you. It's like bouncing, bouncing, bouncing off. Whatever they say, right? It's just bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. That's the energetic, healthy boundaries that you want to create. You're creating an energetic shield that it'll just kind of bounce, 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 bounce off of you. So it doesn't really have an effect. That's what you're trying to do here. Okay. Okay, so Najera has a question. How do I set boundary with a friend who seems to disregard my choices? Like she may invite people who I don't get along with to my birthday. Yes, she knows we're not in good terms, but is setting. Okay, great question. How do I set a boundary? So when you invite your friend, you say to your friend, um, I would like you to, I really would like you to be in my birthday party because you're my friend, but uh, please do not please do not invite anybody that has not been approved by me. Please do not invite anybody that has not been approved by me. And that's a very, very reasonable thing to ask, right? Please do not invite anybody that has not been approved by me because I want to make sure that this birthday party is just, high vibration for everybody, that this is a positive experience for everyone, not just for me, the birthday girl, but everybody. So please, I would love for you to come to my party, but please, if you want to invite somebody, let me know who it is. It's got to be approved by me. Or you could just say, look, Um, if you want to invite somebody, ask me and tell me who it is. Okay. So I think that's a very, very fair way to deal with that. Again, you've set that boundary right there. You've set a boundary. And then for some reason, if the person shows up, like let's say you've set that and your friend shows up with somebody that you don't like because that means they dishonored you. That means that they have not honored your request. So then at that point, you have to think, is this really my friend? If I told my friend very clearly, please ask me if I could, bring a friend, and they disregard that and bring somebody without asking you, then you have to ask, is this person really my friend? And you have to really evaluate if you want to continue that relationship. Okay, Najira, I hope I answered that question. But she is keen on setting her boundaries with you. Okay, I get what you're saying. So that's when you should ask. You should say, okay, is this somebody that I really want to be friends with? So don't make it about her, make it about you. Are you okay? If you're not okay with her setting those boundaries, then you have to evaluate if this person is really a friend. Like Thich Nhat Hanh said, it's all about what bothers you and what doesn't bother you. If it doesn't bother you that she set those boundaries, then who cares? But if it does bother you, you either maybe want to talk about it with her and have an open communication in a nice way, like, hey, I've noticed that you did this and this and this, and I felt hurt, and see how she receives it and if she changes her behavior. So then if nothing changes in that relationship, then you really want to say, okay, you know what? I know that I could attract better friends. And so I'm going to let this friendship go. What I'm saying is decide if it really bothers you, then either you resolve the situation with her, and if it can't be resolved, then you have to really examine if that friend is truly your friend. And then if you decide not to be friends, you let that friendship go and set intention out to the universe says, I know that you let this friendship go to make energetic space for better friends to come who honor me and I honor them. Okay. So that I hope that helps, Najira. Natalie's 1111. How do you maintain boundaries with a toxic boss? Someone narcissistic that is responsible for your financial security for the duration of your position. Okay. When you say toxic boss, do you mean like a boss that's putting you down, that's saying bad things to you, that putting you down, that's always like, saying that this isn't good enough or that's making fun of you? Is that what you're saying? Or you're saying this boss is toxic? Um, what is that exactly is happening in that relationship that it feels really toxic? I'd love to get a little bit more detailed information. Okay. But in general, let's talk in generalities. If you're having to work with this boss, right, who's toxic, right? So what it is this, and I don't know how much you have to really interact with this person. I don't know how much you have to really interact with the person. But what I would do in situations like that, because I have been in a situation where there was a toxic boss. Um, I did a lot of I did a lot of Ho'oponopono. So you should really, this is very profound, and maybe you're ready for it and maybe you're not ready for it. In Ho'oponopono, which I talked about briefly before, they're saying that everything that shows up in your experience, and this is why you take full responsibility for your life, is because you're sharing something with that person. That's why they showed up. Because if there's no sharing of that person, then you wouldn't show up. So Dr. Hugh Len was one of the teachers of, not the original teacher, but he was a huge proponent of Ho'oponopono. Comes, it's from Hawaiian spiritual practice, and he learned it from a short little spiritual lady. This concept of Ho'oponopono. He was a PhD psychiatrist, and he learned Ho'oponopono through this very tiny little lady, spiritual lady. And what happened was this, just to show you how powerful this tool is, and I think it might help you. The premise of Ho'oponopono, like I said, is that the reason why that person is showing up in your life is because you're sharing something with them. And the sharing something with them oftentimes is unconscious. You're not even consciously aware of it. And so the way he proved this was he got hired by a psychiatric ward that had a lot of criminals in there, a lot of low frequency energies in the psychiatric ward. And this psychiatric ward was so toxic, the walls were peeling. Everything was so horrific. And the staff, they couldn't even keep a staff for 2 weeks because it was such low frequency energy in the psychiatric ward. And so they hired him and to become the director of the psychiatric ward with rapists, criminals, really low frequency individuals, insane, people. And he said, okay, I'm going to be hired. And because they're paying me, he felt obligated to go into the office every day, to physically could go in, even though he says, I didn't need to go into the office to do what I did. So every day he would sit in his office and he would take the folders of each of his patients in the ward and he would read the profile, read their history. And as he was reading the history, things would come up, uncomfortable feelings would come up. And he would do the Ho'oponopono mantra. He would say, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, which is asking, basically that mantra is asking your inner child, the subconscious mind, to communicate with the superconscious mind, to communicate with the divine, to help me release the low frequency energy that I am sharing with this patient. Because he says that the reason why they showed up in my experience is because I'm sharing something with them, and it's in a deep subconscious mind. It's not something that is that is a conscious awareness. And so he would do this mantra constantly as he would look. And so then that's called the purifying cleansing process. And as he would cleanse all that low frequency energy, each of those patients got better and they got transferred out. And this only happened in 3 months. And because and the people, the staff couldn't believe it. They said, what's going on here? This is unbelievable. And because they saw miracles happen in this ward, they start to talk to people outside of the ward. This gentleman, he never wanted fame or fortune. He never wanted it. He kept it always to himself. And so they started talking about him to news and things like that. That's how he became known, not because he went to the news organization. He never wanted fame or anything. And so what you might want to do is you might think, look at I have a Ho'oponopono guided meditation on my guided playlist. Look it up and look up Dr. Hugh Len. You want to do a lot of cleansing. Start doing a lot of cleansing. What is it that, and this guy's talk, it doesn't mean that you're a good person. You're a very good person. It means that all of us are holding on to low frequency energies that do not serve us. And because the universe is inclusive, law of attraction is inclusive, it's not exclusive, it's going to show you what you're the magnet, right? It's the magnets are coming together. So there's something subconsciously that you might be sharing with this person. So the more you can cleanse yourself, the less your boss is going to show up. Or if your boss shows up, it will not be that toxic. So look up Ho'opono. I have Ho'opono. I have a video on Ho'oponopono. I have guided meditations on Ho'oponopono. And look up Dr. Hugh Len. Look it up. It's a true story. So do a lot of cleansing. Do a lot of cleansing and genuine cleansing. And and then see how it shows up. How does your boss show up? Your boss is going to show up less, or your boss is going to actually show up probably better. So look up Ho'oponopono and look up Dr. Hugh Len, okay? In the meantime, while you're doing this, is just make you keep reminding yourself that, you know what, this is his thing. I'm on my journey of expansion and growth, and he's toxic. I'm going to, put on some headphones. If you're at work, put on some headphones, or so try to communicate with him more via email rather than face to face. Maybe do more email communications. not face to face. Okay. And put on some headphones when you're at your job. So your ears are focusing on beautiful music. And that beautiful music is helping you to focus on the work at hand as opposed to focus on your environment. Okay. Okay. So I hope that has helped. She talks about everyone behind their back and yells at staff. Okay. No emotional intelligence. Yes. That feels toxic. Yeah, that feels very toxic. I get it. Yeah. You have to understand that people like that are going through she's going through a lot of suffering and pain. That doesn't mean that you should condone that behavior. But when people behave that way, it's because they're trying to deal with their own shadows, their own things, And so that they're releasing that energy in that way. That doesn't mean that that behavior should be condoned by anybody. No, should not be. But the universe will take care of her. She has her soul's journey. But in the meantime, I get it. It's making the workplace toxic, right? And also know that you're probably not going to be there forever too. But I get it. It's not pleasant to work in that environment, right? So put on the headphones and if you hear that she's talking about you, know that she's doing that to everybody. Like say, it doesn't matter that she's talking about me or everybody else. It doesn't like again, what Thich Nhat Hanh said, you can only be affected if you allow it to affect you. So if you allow her words, her like to affect you, put on the headphones so you could uh drown out her white noise. Put on the headphones. I get it's difficult. I acknowledge that. But this is how you grow. You grow through obstacles. You grow through challenges. And this is a challenge for your inner self-development. So she's showing you to do inner self-development work. Because when you do inner self-development work and you transcend, you're going to go beyond her. And you'll probably just land a new job, a much better job. Because when you're at a higher frequency, when you're operating at a higher frequency, you're going to meet higher frequency people. So your job is to transcend her frequency, go up your level up. That's your job, is to level up. And as you level up, this job no longer becomes relevant. You'll probably be attracting a better job. You hear what I'm saying? So when you do the inner work of leveling up, you're changing your entire situation. You're changing your job situation. You're changing your money situation. You're changing everything. Okay. It's a good question. So thank you so much. Okay. So the final boundary to set is the physical boundary. Your body. And setting healthy boundaries for your body is really, really important. Why? Because your soul lives in your body. So you've got to take care of the body, right? It's mind, body, and soul. And so, how do you take care of the body? You physically need time alone. You physically need to pamper yourself. Even if it's 15, 20, 30 minutes a day. If you have, let's say, 3 kids, you says, Moon, I don't know how, I don't have time for myself. You have to make time. You have to prioritize. You have to say, okay, kids, or you have your husband or whatever, somebody else or your parents watch over them. For 30 minutes, I'm going to do this. Or for 1 hour or 2 hours a week, I'm going to go get a massage. You've got to do the physical healthy boundary setting because your body needs to revitalize that energy. When you physically remove yourself from the chaos of life or the busyness of life, then you're creating a healthy mind, you're creating healthy emotions, and you're creating a healthy body. So make sure you're setting those physical boundaries of how much you're going to do and how much you're not going to do. And be assertive about it. Say, no, this is my time. I can't do that. Saying no is a great thing. Be very discerning about how much yeses you say. So in terms of even, let's say, volunteering for your community, you say, I'm volunteering for my church. I'm volunteering for this community center. Be really mindful of how much how much physical output you're putting out there. Maybe you don't need to cook 7 days a week. Maybe you're going to cook 4 days a week or 5 days, and then 2 days a week you're going to, either take in or go out to eat. You know what I'm saying? So Be mindful of the physical boundaries that you're creating for yourself. Are you creating a physical boundary where you could go to yoga class? I remember one time I was speaking to this lady and she was so mentally, emotionally drained because they were taking care of her mother-in-law. And her mother-in-law was so demanding. And you could tell she was mentally, emotionally, physically drained. She says, I wish I could just even go to a yoga class. I don't even have time. I wish I could just go to yoga class. And then when she did make a little time, physically made that time to go to yoga class, she felt better after the yoga class. She needed that. She needed that rejuvenation, physical. And so it's really important to set those physical boundaries for your mind, body, and soul. Okay. Natalie's 111 says, that is a very interesting concept. Yes, and I believe I have healthy boundaries in life, but not with bosses who control myself. It's something I realize I need to learn. Okay. Look up in my playlist, there's Ho'oponopono spiritual practice, and then there's a guided meditation for the Ho'oponopono. So watch the video on the concept. Let me see if I can find the link to that video to share with you so that you can have access to that. And then what I'll do is I'll show you the video and the meditation. It's a very powerful concept, and I urge you to do research on Dr. Hugh Len. Um, I urge you to do research on this gentleman. It's a true story. Okay. Okay, here's the video on the concept of Ho'oponopono. Ho'opono. And then here's the guided meditation on Ho'oponopono. Uh let me see the guided meditation. Okay, here's the guided meditation for Ho'oponopono. Okay. How about financial boundaries from demanding parents? Great question. Financial boundaries, very important. So thank you for bringing that up as financial boundaries. Okay, so if your parents are asking you for money, you set boundaries. You set boundaries based on how much money you make and how much money you can afford to give to others, donation, or share it with family or friends. So you make a budget. You have to have a financial budget. You say, this is how much I bring in, net pay, not without taxes. This is how much my costs are for food, for rent, for whatever. And this is how much money I have left. And this money, this percentage of money I want to allocate to investing for my retirement. And now I have this much money that I could afford to provide for donations or for my parents. And so once you have a clear picture through that budgeting exercise, do the budget. This is how much I bring in net. This is what my expenses are. This is how much I'm going to invest for my retirement. And now I have this much money. And this much money I feel comfortable giving to my parents. Once you have those figures, then that's what you tell your parents. You say, Mom and Dad, I've done my budget. These are the numbers that I came up with. And this is how much I have to provide for you. I want to support you in any way that I can, in the way that doesn't destroy my life, but also helps you. That also keeps me financially healthy. And so then you say, this is how much I could afford per month, $200, $300, whatever it is. This is what I'm willing to give. And if they're not happy with it, then say, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Would you like to have this money or not? Because I'm willing to give you this amount. And if it's not enough, then I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that I can't help you more because, again, you need to be financially healthy because if you go bankrupt, how are you going to ever help anybody, right? If you've spent all your money and you can't even take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of your family or friends? How are you going to take care of your parents? You can't. So that's how you set that boundary. You do the budget and you see the number and you say, this number I feel comfortable giving to my family. And then you present it to them. If they take it, great. If they don't, great. Right? If they don't take it, that's more money in your pocket. And I think that's a very fair way of dealing with family. Very fair. You're not saying no, but they can't just bankrupt you, because if they bankrupt you, there's no way that you're going to be able to help them. So again, it's about taking care of yourself so that you can take care of the people around you. That's what this is about. And if you have no money, you have nothing to give to others. So that's a great question. So thank you, Najira, for that. You're welcome, Natalia. The Najira says the problem is when you live with them, they can be demanding. Okay, so this is what you do. This is what you do. You say this. You say, um, this is how much I'm giving you towards, what is the food bill? What is the utility bill? Like, what is the electricity bill? What is this bill? What is that bill? And then you look at it. What is the average? What is the rent? You look at it. And then you say, okay, this is how much I am. And you could explain to them, look, if I have no money, you're going to have no money. This is the healthy amount that I could give you towards rent, towards utility, towards this, right? And then if they ask for more, I would just keep iterating that this is all I can give you. Do you want me to become bankrupt? Do you want me to not have it? Because if I become bankrupt, surely you're not going to get any money from me, right? So it's about looking at how much, what are their rent? What is their food bill? What is the utility bill? What is your budget? How much can you give? And then negotiating that. But just caving in is not going to do you any good. Maybe you want to think about moving out. Maybe you want to think about having your own place, or if you're telling me, Moon, I'm not ready for my own place because I don't make enough money and living with my parents is the better option, you know, then you have to really level up. You have to level up your mind, body, and soul to be able to get the better opportunity to make more money so that you could live on your own. So the more you level up, the more better job you're going to get, the better people you're going to meet, the better opportunities you get. And when you get those bigger opportunities, that means you don't have to live with your parents because you can afford to live on your own. So the best thing is to level up your mind, body, and soul, level it up. Because when you level up, you're going to create, you're going to build, you're going to innovate, you're going to do things at a higher level. And because you're doing things at a higher level, they're going to pay you at that level. Okay. Okay. You're welcome, Najira. You're a beautiful soul, and you have really good questions. Okay, so that is the thing. It's about physical boundaries. And so let's go back to the mind, because I think it was someone asked me about how do I get rid of a sick mind? How do I get rid of these thoughts that keep coming and creating this toxic mind? Right? My mind is sick. Somebody mentioned about that. Negativity keeps on flooding my mind. Okay, it was Lisette. I think it was Lisette that mentioned. Okay, how do you stop negativity from flooding your mind? You got to stop watching negativity things, and you got to stop being around negative people. So if you're on social media and you're watching all this negative stuff, you've got to stop it. You've got to stop it. You got to stop. If don't surround yourself with that negativity, whether it's the things that you watch or the people around you. If there are people around you who are negative, stop hanging out with them. Stop hanging out with them. So you got to cut you got to cut out first the inflow of negative information. You got to cut that out first. And then you have to be aware of your thoughts. You have to say, okay, what is my thought right now? Is my thought that, oh my God, everything, all hell is going to break loose? If you have a thought like that, oh my God, I have no money. Oh my God, um, I'm I'm gonna be homeless. Like if you have those thoughts, at that moment you have to say pause, 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 pause. And what can you say that's 1% better, 2% better, 1 or 2% better? That's all we're asking for. We're not asking for 100% better, because that's like making a quantum. You pause. This, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to have my job. And now I'm so scared. I have this fear of not having a job. Let's say you think that you have all these negative thoughts, so you're gonna lose a job, right? And it's just it's so pervasive. And you can't pause. What can you say at that moment? Oh, I have a job right now. And I know that change is the only constant thing in life. And that I believe that if I don't have this job, a better job will come in. It's okay. The universe always has your back. I have a job now and I'm grateful for it now. Life is all about change, and change is the only constant. So if I don't have this job tomorrow, that's okay because the the God is opening me to make energetic space for a better job, making energetic space for a better job. So you're soothing yourself. But the more you believe that, the more that's going to happen because the universal forces has so many different ways of being able to take care of you. You're just not in alignment with it because you're so in panic mode or in fear mode or in negativity mode. And as you keep being in that negativity railroad train that's just going, the universe just keeps you seeing this, showing the same thing. So what can you say at that moment? Pause, say pause, thought pause, mind pause, and say, what can I say that makes me feel 2% better? That's credible, that I still believe. Say, you know what? Change is the only constant. And this job is not may not necessarily be forever for me. And that's okay because change is the only constant. You know how many times people change jobs? Maybe 10 times in a lifetime. So, not having a job is not the worst thing in the world because the universal forces is making you energetic space for something better to come in. That's the reason, that's the purpose. So being okay, saying okay, being okay with that and that train wreck of thoughts is to break that cycle so that you can start to attract something better. And rather than keep attracting the same thing. So when you keep repeating the same thoughts and it's a runaway train, you keep attracting the same thing. It's like this, boom, boom, boom. So how do I get here? How do I from here to here? 1% better. What can I say that makes me feel 1% better? And then what can I say next time that makes me 3% better? Then next time, what can I say that makes me feel 4% better? So you're just inching your way up the ladder. That's what you're doing. And do the things that that makes you feel come home to your soul. Like I know that whenever I spend time with nature, I feel like problems kind of fade away, that because I feel present in the moment. And when I feel present in the moment, all of those rampaging thoughts start to subside. So what are the things can you do to quiet that mind? Is it spending time with nature? Is it going swimming? Is it taking a walk in the woods? Is it taking a walk with your dog? What are those times that you could spend that makes your mind quiet, helps to come home to your soul, helps to come home to your higher consciousness, helps to come home to your higher self, helps to connect you with the divine? What are those activities that help you come home to your soul? Is it taking a a, a, a salt bath? You know, we're spending time in the woods, spending time in the ocean. Okay. So those are some of the things. Okay, everyone. So you guys asked me some really great questions. So thank you so much. So just to recap, in order to show up to life at the highest level, you want to set boundaries, healthy boundaries for your mind, body, and soul. And I went through all the ways and why it's important to set healthy boundaries for your mind, body, and soul, and some of the tools and tips that you can employ to set those boundaries. So apply those boundaries, and think about setting those boundaries for 2025 as you want to level up in 2025. It's going to be the snake energy coming in the Chinese astrology and beautiful energies coming in 2025. A lot of transformation and change will happen. So think about setting these healthy boundaries for 2025. Okay. So let's do a closing prayer. Again, I want to mention for those of you who don't already know, we're developing an AI educational platform for traditional Chinese medicine healing system. And so we're taking surveys about, we want to hear from you. We want to know what it is that you would want in such a platform that can educate you about Chinese medicine. And we want your input and feedback by completing a survey. And so here's the link to the survey, 69moons.co/consumers. Please complete that survey so you can let us know what would you want in such a platform that can help your health and wellness and your family's health and wellness. And the platform will be free. We won't be charging consumers like you to use it. So you could use it completely free. And we want to educate you so you can make better choices for your health and wellness. Okay. So please complete that survey. Okay, so let's do a closing prayer. Dear God, angel, spirit guide, send masters, divine creator. Thank you so much for allowing us to open this sacred space on the topic of creating healthy boundaries for the mind, body, and soul so that every one of these beautiful souls can show up at the highest level so they can innovate, build, create, and really meet their highest potential and highest expression of themselves by setting these healthy boundaries that will allow them to expand and grow in their internal world, which will allow them to grow, expand, and grow in the external. So thank you so much for your continued support, your continued guidance, your continued wisdoms, your continued protection, and most importantly, your unconditional love. And so it is. Namaste. Okay, bye, everyone.